All right, guys, we're going to do a time lapse on putting a swing set together that the grandparents got together on and bought for Mackenzie. So I don't know if this is going to be an assembly video or a buyer beware video, because once we open these boxes, holy but Jesus, there's 3 boxes worth of boards, screws, bolts, nuts, plastic. I'm going to set this up on tripod and we'll show you how this thing goes together. All right, guys, I'm going to consider that time lapse a buyer's beware. So as you've seen in the time lapse, this is what we got done so far. The sliding board is not attached because of transportation. We got to load it up and take it over to my daughter's house. The house is not complete. I don't have enough room to put the roof system on there. That is the roof system there. And as we walk around this thing, the ladder is not attached. Fairly simple. It's just 2 bolts. 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here. As we come around, the rock wall is also not attached, and it's pretty simple. There's just going to be 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here, and that will attach to that. You really can't tell from the time lapse, but if you look close, everything was pre-drilled, and there are a ton of screws that need to go in here, and there are a ton of parts. And sometimes we may have tightened these 2 bolts up, but as we got the panels, we had to loosen some bolts up to move 2x4s over a little bit to make room. So there was some adjusting there, but you almost have to have those bolts tight so it's not all wobbly. It's like a bad chicken with no bones, boneless chicken with all the screws loosened up. So we opted to tighten them up, and then as we needed, we just loosened them up and moved that over to make whatever didn't fit go ahead and fit. So again, I'm going to call this a buyer's beware. The other part of the swing set is over there, and I forgot to mention that. Pretty neat how that attaches. We have 4 holes right here, and we do have a bracket on the end of that, and there's going to be 4 bolts holding that on. So that's another piece that we have to add once we get it to my daughter's house. As well as, here are some swings, monkey bars, and gable ends, and I'm not sure what that thing is. So we have a little bit more to do, and we will throw that into a time lapse probably when we get it over to her house. Show you what that was, and then we'll show you the completed unit and show you Mackenzie playing on it. That'll be part 2 of the swing set series. So let's go over a few things. One thing that my wife did that saved us a lot of time. So they give you real nice paperwork, and I'll lay this out. Box 1, box 2, and box 3, and it tells you all the parts that are in there. And as you've seen on the time lapse, as we emptied the boxes, we put parts from box number 1 here, parts from box number 2 here, and parts from box number 3 over there. So we knew which box to go pick through. Another thing I want to show you guys, and this is why I say this is a buyer's beware. Everything is labeled, and it's labeled very nice. As you can see, that's 00086, and we kind of put them in order. I think they're out of order now because we've been moving them around, but we had them all numerical order. And then over here were the 100 series. You can see 189, the 200 series, the 300 series, and the 400 series. In the book, and this is made by Backyard Discovery, and you know, I hate to say this, but this is a buyer's beware, because I can't imagine putting this thing together in your backyard with all these nuts, bolts, washers, screws. I mean, there is a ton of stuff to put this thing together. I'm not going to lie to you. What you just seen was a combination of 4 days, and you can kind of see that 4 days play out if you look at our clothing. I think on day 1 I had a blue shirt on. On day 2 I had a redneck shirt on with brown pants. Day 3 I had a redneck shirt with jean shorts, and then, you know, so if you look at the clothing that we're wearing, you can see that it was over the course of 4 days, and at the end of this video I'll give you a description. So the book is very well played out. It shows you all the screw sizes and all the tools and just everything. It breaks it all out. Here's where the problem comes in. It does not give you part numbers. It only tells you screw PFH 8x2 black. Okay? So what my wife did after we had this step already done, she went in the house and she went to hex bolt 5/16 by 2 3/4. She went back to the front of the book here and she found that. And as you can see, if you look at the 5/16 by 4.5, for example, that is a 5/3/4. So, you know, that would have been over in this pile, which it's gone now. It's into place. So what she did was she identified all of the nuts, bolts, washers, and that was very time consuming for her as well. But we almost had to do that, so we knew that we were getting the right screws for the right part and all that. The other thing was she went through and she labeled, okay, this part was in box 3. And she did that by cross-referencing. She went and got all 3 of the sheets. Okay, that's a J1. She went down through, there's J1. That's the porch ground board. So she wrote box 3 because it's in box 3. And she did that for the entire book. So right now, I'll go through this book, and we have completed up to step 41. All right, so we have completed up to step 41 right here in the garage. And as you can see, she has everything labeled and what boxes and everything. So out of step 41, we still have, and we did cheat a little bit, I guess I should say, because we did install the handles, the telescope, the steering wheel, so that we did eliminate a couple of those. But there are a total of 55 steps. And they're as simple as, like, this one is just attaching the placard on the swing set. So some of the steps are very simple, but indeed it is very time consuming. So I'm going to call this one Buyers Beware. And with that, we're going to end part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. We have some inclement weather coming in. We're going to get some rain tomorrow, I believe, and it looks like it may rain for a couple of days. But stay tuned. Part 2 will come. Not like the Bermuda part 2. It never did come. Just didn't have enough decent footage to throw something together there. But what we're going to do is go over there and assemble it. And guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Garage Preacher, man, I'll tell you, that shout out that you gave me was unbelievable. And I've already gained 4 subscribers just from your little shout out. So I'm going to give you a shout out. I'll put a link to your YouTube channel down below here. Garage Preacher. Check him out, man. He's got some good stuff over there. So with that, part 1 is now over. Thank you for subscribing. We'll see you in another 50 subscribers to give away a GoPro accessory, a t-shirt, some decals, and when I hit 1,000 subscribers, we are going to give away an action camera. So if you have friends, family, tell them to subscribe. The faster we get to 1,000 subscribers, the faster you have a chance of winning an action camera. Thanks so much. See ya.